I'm Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. Welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous.
I am definitely not an alcoholic. I drink a lot all at once. Is that the definition of binge drinking? Is like binge drinking when you drink a lot all at once?
I
Or
feel
is
like
it when
binge drinking is like when you drink to the point that you get blackout drunk, and I don't think you've ever...
No, I've never done that.
Yeah.
But like, is binge drinking about drinking a bunch of alcohol at once, or about drinking a bunch of alcohol at once habitually? I'm not sure.
You could bang that and find out.
I could bing that.
Because I have no answer for you.
What is the definition of binge drinking?
Because this is really important, I guess.
Bing drinking. What is bing drinking? Bing drinking, or heavy drinking, is a moderate epithet for drinking alcoholic beverages with the primary intention of becoming intoxicated by heavy consumption of alcohol over a short period of time. Oh, so I am a binge drinker. Okay. So that does meet the definition of how I drink.
Yeah.
I don't drink very often.
It overlaps somewhat with social drinking since it's often done in groups.
Yes. So, that makes more sense. So I don't drink very often, but when I do, I tend to binge drink.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people would be binge drinkers then, because like, what are you doing? Like having like a glass of wine with dinner?
I mean, that's the point of wine.
It is nice though. It is nice to have a glass of wine.
Have a glass, yeah.
But like, what are you doing with like, I don't know.
Can you be considered a binge drinker if one shot gets you drunk?
Oh, are you drinking that to become intoxicated?
Drinking it to enjoy it.
By becoming intoxicated?
I guess so.
Is that your primary intention?
Yes, but
You're
would
a binge
one
drinker.
Shot be considered heavy
one
consumption,
shot binge
though?
drinker. Yeah. That's the definition, I suppose. When you went to the hibachi bar, you sure as shit drank.
Oh my god. I had so much sake. I
I
had a small little tiny bottle of sake.
Small bottle, baby bottle of sake.
Baby bottle.
But then...
And I got so drunk.
Well, it wasn't just that, though, because
because like the chef was also like doing like sake battles with the little squeeze bottles.
And so...
And I was like, yeah, I'll win this.
So they were like squirting sake into two people's mouths to see who could keep drinking the sake the longest.
I was like, yeah, I'm competitive with this kind of stuff. I'll keep going. I'll go until you're out.
Who were you doing that? Were you doing it with the weird lady?
I think I was doing that against Caitlin.
Yeah, you were doing that against Caitlin.
Yeah, I was doing that against Caitlin.
Which is great, because she was driving.
Caitlin also does not get, like, easily drunk.
No, she doesn't. She was completely sober.
Oh, yeah. Whereas I was really fucked up.
Yeah, you were. But when we were out there in the spider world, in the Spider-Verse, we got to talking about Eight-Legged Freaks, which I don't think I've ever seen.
And we should really rectify that, because that was, like, one of my favorite childhood movies, along with, like, Lake Placid and Evolution.
Like, how does it compare?
And Anaconda.
How does it...
And Anaconda Blood Orchid.
It's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, right?
Yeah, I think so, if I remember correctly. I haven't watched it in a few years.
I remember when that movie came out, that I was, like, fed up with tongue-in-cheek stuff. Like, I was done with comedy.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, is, like, there was a lot of... I feel like you go through those phases, and, like, right now the thing is, like, superhero movies, and then people get fed up with that, and at the time I was, like, real fed up with that kind of stuff, and there was, like, the Evolution, and I was like, that looks dumb, and then later on I watched that with you, and I'm like, okay, now that I'm in the mindset to enjoy this, I enjoy this.
Right.
Like, how tongue-in-cheek is it compared to, like, something like Evolution?
I feel like it's pretty similar to Evolution. Like, whenever I would watch Eight-Legged Freaks, I would always do, like, a double movie night with Evolution. Because, like, it's not... Like, I feel like Placid and Anaconda are kind of taking themselves seriously, whereas with, Eight-Legged Freaks, it's kind of just, like, making fun of the genre of giant animals attacking people.
Yeah, you can't take it seriously, though, but that's what it... Like, Anaconda, you shouldn't be taking that movie seriously, but
like, it tries to take itself seriously?
Yeah, and then we got to talking about, like, is it possible to have a movie like that's a schlocky big animal movie that is sincerely scary or, like, done in earnest? And I think the only way you can do that is if they're aliens. Like, you can't...
Like kaiju.
Like, yeah. Something along those lines where you're not... Where
Mothra.
It's not... Yeah, it's not literal... Like, Mothra isn't a giant moth. It is a giant monster that is shaped like a moth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's the same... It's not
It's not like, yeah.
It's not a moth getting hit by, like...
They're like cousin categories,
yes.
I feel.
But then that got us talking about how I have absurdly high standards for horror movies and just can't enjoy horror movies.
Right.
It's like, no, every movie needs to be The Shining.
Not every movie can be The Shining, though.
It's like, every movie needs to be Get Out. It's like, you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
And that's why I don't see a whole lot of horror movies, because I'm like, anything will take me out of the experience. Mm. I'm so petty about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was something else I was comparing it to where you can, like, enjoy something kind of being, like, and still enjoy it, but, like, horror movie. Oh, porn. Right.
And they're like, you were doing...
Yeah. So, like, you watch, like, you're going to get desensitized. You're not going to be able to get an erection anymore. You're not going to enjoy sex with your wife after...
Some people do have that issue, but, like...
Some people do. And it's like, I never have...
But it's like horror movies,
movies, I do. Right. Like, seeing good horror movies prevents me from enjoying bad horror movies or mediocre ones.
Right.
Because the standards are too high. Oh, boy. So today we're going to be reading a story from the SCP Foundation, SCP-632. I said those numbers correctly, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you did.
So this is a little spidery boy.
Little spider boy.
We're going to read...
Which spiders are so cute.
I disagree. We also had that conversation.
Hey.
We also had that conversation about crabs.
Yeah.
And how crabs are okay.
Crabs are just sea spiders.
And I disagree so vehemently.
And they're yummy sea spiders.
Spiders...
I will happily eat sea spiders.
Okay, so like crabs are the proper length to be the shape. But spiders... and then giant movie spiders that come from space, that's different.
Yeah.
Those are horrifying. Crabs are the proper size for that.
Have you ever seen a Chilean rose tarantula, though? They're so cute with their little butts.
I vaguely know what you're talking about.
They're cute.
No, they're gross to me.
No,
they actually freak me out more than more normal spiders.
Really?
Yeah, they're super weird looking.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My aunt has a tarantula farm, though, so...
Yeah, no. I'm not like... I don't have arachnophobia, but, like, not touching spiders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have your normal baseline, like...
Okay.
That is a thing that I have been bred to hate.
To be fair, I don't like house spiders. Like, I'm fine with, like, the big, cute tarantula ones. But, like, little house spiders... Like, not the gray ones, but, like, the other... I don't know, maybe just because, like, brown recluse spiders, like... Are just like, no, keep those things away from me.
No, I don't know.
And wolf spiders. I don't like wolf spiders. Like, both of those can just fall into a pit.
I think this is, I'm not sure. I think that this one might be a wolf spider. We'll find out. Item number SCP-632, object class Euclid. So this is a little
I'm glad you said that, because I was not sure how to pronounce that.
Euclid is a little...
Euclid.
Are you familiar with the object classes?
No, no.
So there's, safe, and safe means, an example of safe doesn't mean safe, it means predictable. Mm. So a gun is safe. Mm. So if a gun is on a table, it's not going to do anything, but a gun still has the potential to get someone killed.
Right.
Guns don't kill people.
Bullets. With gravity kill people.
Fucking Newton inventing guns.
Anyway.
Euclid is more unpredictable. Keter, I believe, is like existential threat to humanity, must be contained, or is hard to contain.
Alright.
Something like that. And then there's, like super waifu OC, level called Themerial? Themerial is like very, very rarely used, and I don't know how the SCP community feels about it, but it's kind of like,
Is it like Bowsette?
No, it's like, you're a vampire? Well, I'm a vampire eater. Like, I'm a person who eats vampires. Like, I'm higher up on the food chain.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing.
It's like trying to do, like, the apex predator or the apex predator.
Yes, yeah. Like, in... in Predators, when they had the predators for the predators.
Right.
And there was, like, the predators that were, like, crucified.
Right.
And then there were the predator, like, alpha people.
I was gonna say, like, great white sharks versus orcas, but, you know, I guess predator works, too.
I like my fictional creatures more. But the, so I don't want to, like, pass judgment because I haven't read any of those stories, but that's what people have told me that they are.
Okay, so this is, like...
So this is just...
This is what, like, a friend of a roommate said.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, this is a Euclid, so it's not near that level.
Okay.
Special containment procedure. A live colony of SCP-632 is currently kept in a 20 centimeter by 40 centimeter by 20 centimeter sealed enclosure in the biological containment wing of Site-52. Sufficient amounts of prey insects and water must be administered weekly through a vacuum chute at the side of the enclosure. Both live and deceased samples of SCP-632 must be handled by personnel wearing full-body respiratory protective gear. Skin contact with SCP-632 instances is to be avoided at all times. I'm just going to polish off the containment procedure.
Go for it.
Personnel reporting headaches, sensations of spider silk on skin, and intrusive thoughts about spiders must submit to MRI scans to determine the presence of SCP-632 manifestation. Affected individuals must be sedated and restrained before the onset of late-stage manifestation, and any newly formed SCP-632 instances are to be surgically removed. Uncontained instances of SCP-632 in the wild are to be destroyed on site. So
it sounds like it manifests in people's brains.
So I think that it's kind of that. I think that the story is riffing off of that idea of you think about spiders, you feel spiders on you. You think about lice, you have to start itching your hair.
Right, you get itchy. You think about ticks, and then you have to check your whole body for ticks.
Which do, like, if you think that if you see one tick, there are other ticks. Check your body.
Right. If you find one on you, there are probably 6 others.
Yeah.
Get someone to look at your butt for you.
Yes. Someone to look at your anus. That's why it's so important to have a life partner. To have someone to check your anus for ticks.
Right. For life. And they'll do the same for you.
Well, not for life. Eventually we're going to get old and go into a retirement home, and then we're going to pay someone to look at our anus for ticks. That's my fetish.
That's your fetish.
Having strange ladies in nurse outfits check my anus for ticks. I don't see any ticks on your anus. I didn't say on my anus.
I said in.
Get on in.
I want a colonoscopy.
But there's the general premise.
All right.
I do like how the special containment tells you like weird information. So there's also skin contact. We shouldn't have skin contact with these things.
Right.
So that is
respiratory,
even. So you can breathe in these spiders. These are breathable boys.
Right.
All right.
Description. SCP-632 is a type of arachnid that produces via unconventional means. Mature instances measure 10 to 15 millimeters in length and are highly social, living in colonies numbering up to 500 individuals. While the exoskeleton of SCP-632 instances is composed of a substance resembling calcified fat, the interior is almost entirely derived from differentiated human brain tissue. SCP-632 is unusual among arachnid species in that both male and female SCP-632 are
physiologically
similar. Sexual organs of both appear to be merely vestigial, likely as a result of its reproductive methods.
Okay, so they got the goodies, but they don't use the goodies.
So if you don't use it, it falls off, though.
Apparently not. They stay on there. So they're vestigial, so that implies that they were used at some point.
Right, and now it's just left over and not being used.
All right. SCP-632. I don't know why I keep missing the 6, rather. Reproduces by exposing a human host to an array of sensory triggers. Such triggers include the visual patterns of SCP-632's abdomen, the tactile sensation produced by SCP-632 crawling on human skin, and several as yet unidentified chemical compounds released by mature SCP-632 instances. So baby SCP-632s don't do this.
Right.
Because they ain't got the compound. But it's kind of like you were talking about. What was that horror movie that made you afraid of owls?
Fourth Kind, I think. The one that takes place in Alaska.
So, like, how's that work? Do you get, like, owl dreams?
It's been a while since I've watched it, but if I remember right, like, the aliens in that movie were kind of, like, hypnotizing the family into, like, whenever they saw an owl, they would basically be susceptible to being, like, taken and probed, I guess, if I remember right. And, like, experimented hypnotism. On. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so it's pretty much what I suggested. They are riffing off, like, when you visualize, like, weird Black Widow patterns and stuff like that, that's kind of like an instinctual thing of, like, that's wrong, stay away from it. You know what I mean?
I want to touch the Widowmaker, though.
Do you now?
I want to touch its butt. Alright, so, 2 to 3 hours following exposure to all of SCP-632's sensory triggers, affected individuals will experience mild headaches, sensations of spider silk on their skin, and repeated intrusive thoughts about spiders.
So this is written from a very scientific perspective, especially them using the term like spider silk rather than spider web.
Right.
That's
spider butt floss.
Yes. So that's something that's important to do in these kinds of stories, is establish that scientific detached tone, and that's a difficult thing to do, and that's why I've always been kind of hesitant to try my hand at writing an SCP. Is like, I feel that my writing style it's difficult for me to do something like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
practice makes perfect.
Yeah. I think I could do it. It would take a lot more effort than it would for my normal writing style.
Yeah, because there would be something new that you'd have to experiment with.
Yeah, but anyone who can write in this way, I applaud them.
MRI scans at this stage of infection reveal the presence of hundreds of small filament-like structures measuring 2 to 3 centimeters in length, forming in the frontal cortex of infected individuals' brains. The mechanism of cellular differentiation is yet unknown to Foundation researchers, but it is presumed to be similar to redacted observed in victims of SCP-1204.
I'm just going to
click it.
Bing SCP-204 real quick.
1204.
1204. 1204, please load.
No.
Alright, you keep reading and I'll wait for that to load.
Alright. The pressure exerted on cerebral blood vessels by these structures cause headaches in affected individuals, localized towards the front of the skull. Repeated tapping on the affected areas causes the filament-like structures to release large amounts of endorphins, effectively alleviating the pain caused by their swelling. Growth of such structures can be halted via timely administration of Class B amnestics. However, while this method prevents total SCP-632 manifestation from occurring, it does not cause existing symptoms to abate.
Yeah, so it's weird always saying amnestics, because you want to say amnesthetics.
I just look at that and my brain is just like, I don't know how to translate that into sounds.
Yeah. We're going to go and see what the item thingy is for 1204. Clingy transient. I have no idea. It's not a long story, but I can't see what a basic description of the thing is.
Give me a second.
Oh, CT scans reveal the shape of an amorphic tumor-like mass located in the brain of a Hispanic female, approximately 21 years old, near the hippocampus, resulting in images greatly varying from separate occasions, revealing the mass in separated... Okay.
The entity itself does not seem to have a harmful physical effect during typical habitation, aside from a substantial effect on hormone balance, mainly resulting in mood swings.
Okay, so...
Interesting.
So they're just, like, referencing the fact that this is something that affects the brain.
Grows inside of the brain.
Grows inside of the brain. Touching it just seems like touching someone's forehead.
So, like, hitting their forehead. Hitting and tapping?
Causes that to release endorphins. Are they going to have, like, spiders be birthed from their brain?
Oh, like Athena from Zeus's head?
Yes. That might be cool. As SCP-632 manifestations progresses, affected individuals will experience gradual thinning of the anterior brain lining and skull as bone, muscle, and fat tissue is gradually incorporated into the filament-like structure of the frontal cortex. 6 to 7 days following the initial exposure, headaches experienced by affected individuals will increase sharply with intensity and duration. This is due to the filament-like structures having already developed into instances of juvenile SCP-632. which greatly exacerbates the pressure on the cerebral blood vessels via their movement. Affected individuals at this point tend to apply increasing amounts of force to their head in order to release enough endorphins to reduce the pain to tolerable levels. So this has this built-in effect of a way to alleviate the pain as the spiders are eating away at the brain to be birthed.
Sounds like eventually you just break your head open and spiders fall out.
That's pretty metal. That's pretty metal. Eventually, most affected individuals end up fracturing their own skulls through accidental application of excessive force, at which point 80 to 200 instances of SCP-632 will exit the brain from the weakened point in the forehead.
All right. It's like a really spidery milkshake.
Spidery milkshake?
Just pouring out of a skull.
Where are you getting milkshake from?
That's just the visualization that's occurring in my brain. I'm just imagining a spider milkshake.
You just curb stomp someone and their skull fractures open and milkshake and spiders fall out.
It's just a shamrock shake just comes out of their head. Alright. Complete SCP-632 manifestation is usually fatal. However, if promptly attended to by qualified medical personnel, 86% of hosts in the final stage of SCP-632 manifestation do manage to survive, albeit with a permanent decrease. Albeit?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like albeit. Like although.
Okay, I always thought it was pronounced...
Albeit. Good heavens.
I grew up with too many books and too little socialization.
Yes, you did.
Because I don't count church as socialization. Albeit with a permanent decrease in motor function, reduced impulse control, and severe arachnophobia.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's possible. I guess it is possible to, like, I guess people do have parts of their brain taken out.
Yeah.
Could you do that with, like, the front of your brain?
I know that somebody had half their brain removed, and they were fine.
Yeah.
I think multiple people have had that happen. Yeah. I don't know about removing the front, because I think that's more of a lobotomy, and people tend to not be too good after lobotomies.
Yeah, it seems like this would, like, lobotomize you.
Yeah.
Well, isn't a lobotomy, like, separating the left and right parts of your brain?
A lobotomy is, like, destroying the front part of your brain.
Huh. But these,
to reduce, like, emotional issues. But often it results in just people not being able to function as human beings.
Yeah, so that is in accordance with what would happen if you had your brain messed with, reduce motor function, reduce impulse control, and...
spiders falling out. So
spiders falling out of your brain, standard stuff.
Yeah.
So here we have breach event log, 9/10/1972. Z redacted Anhui province. The entire town of Z redacted, so that's something that starts with a Z, was reportedly found bludgeoned to death. Rapid response team discovered numerous SCP-632 supercolonies throughout Z redacted, each comprising thousands of individuals. The supercolonies were thought to sustain themselves on the swarms of flies attracted to the decaying bodies of the villagers. 106 dead, 32 injured.
Flip those numbers. 23 injured.
23 injured. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. 30/1/1999. Party like it's 1999.
Suichin.
Anhui Province. Wang Zi, an employee of the Ministry of Agriculture, collapsed at a clinic in downtown Suiqing after reporting to have suffered from chronic headaches. Wang fractured her skull against a concrete wall, resulting in numerous SCP-632 instances, breaching her cranial cavity and causing 28 people to be exposed to their sensory triggers. The resultant manifestations were not detected until much later, when 16 of the affected individuals had already managed to expose 291 more individuals to SCP-632. 27 dead, 293 injured.
Oof. Ooh-wee. And Cao Miao Henan Province.
In 2001.
In 2001. Li Zhangtang. It is impossible for a Western tongue to try and pronounce Mandarin names without sounding incredibly racist.
It's because Chinese is so tonal, and we do not have, like, the same amount of tonal to our language. Like, we have a little bit, but, like, it is nowhere close compared to Mandarin.
Because so, like, going, like, Li Jingtang, it's like, it sounds like it's impossible to not sound racist doing it.
But also trying to say it just flat, like the way you would assume you would say it. Yeah, right, it doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. An 86-year-old woman living alone was found dead by social workers in her home with her eyes missing. Throughout the body was not only...
Throughout the body.
Although her body was not in a state of advanced decomposition, an autopsy revealed almost 100% of her brain to be absent. Foundation agents embedded in the pathology department of Redacted Hospital gained access to the scene and discovered an SCP-632 colony residing in the ceiling board above Lee's bed. It was theorized that Lee had been rendered bedridden and repeatedly exposed to SCP-632, resulting in almost all of her brain tissue being converted into SCP-632 instances. I wonder if, like, different parts of the brain have different amounts of fat or, whatever it is, materials that would cause different strengths of spiders depending to be birthed out of it. So, like, if you have a pride of lions in an area where whatever it is that lions are eating they're overpopulated, you're gonna get buff fucking lions.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Wonder if you get buff fucking spiders if they, like, eat the whole brain. Or maybe if there's, like, less fatty parts of the brain, and then...
I mean, like maybe
less
not,
cholesterol.
Maybe not with fat, but maybe, like, with neurons?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, like, maybe more parts of the brain... Maybe parts of the brain with more neurons cause more spiders or buffer spiders.
Buffer spiders or weaker spiders.
Or maybe weaker. Maybe more intelligent, weaker, poetry-oriented
Poetry-oriented spiders. Chinese poetry-oriented spiders. Instances. The instances then exited her skull through her eye sockets as Lee was too weak to fracture her own skull. 1 dead, 5 injured. That is cool. So I like it when these stories really do explore. They come up with a concept and then they explore them in a few different ways. So, like, what would happen if their heads don't break because they're too frail to break them?
Right.
They explain what would happen. And it seemed like this is the kind of SCP story that I like because it feels like this could be a real thing.
Right.
Like, a government might maybe be able to cover this up. Probably not. But, like, this could be a thing that exists in the world somewhere. Right. It feels that way. At least to me. What do you think?
I like it. I like it.
So it looks like our old Chinese lady, Li Xingting, was one of those victims eating her 8 million spiders a day in her sleep.
Yes.
That's right, people. That's the real statistic. You eat 8 million spiders every night when you go to sleep.
And then don't even think about the amount in your chocolate.
No. I do love it when people say that you eat 80 spiders a year while you're sleeping. That's so backwards and stupid.
Right.
But people believe it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All right.
Like, you're just sleepwalking and eating spiders.
Yes. Yes, you're grabbing them. Nom nom nom. Candy. Any final thoughts?
None that I can think of. Except I need more water.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chelsea's art links are down in the description.
Nobody can see me doing a peace sign, but I'm doing
peace
one.
Sign, bye.
Peace out, guys.